here we go. So I promised you a couple of recordings, and I first want to talk about how to consume literature. I think that that has been a problem, and so I want to talk a little bit about the reading log that we have used in the past, and my students seem to have found very helpful. So this is an idea of what a reading log looks like. You basically add in your reference. Full APA style helps create your reference page and add your references really easy. Then you're going to add information from the literature, the theory, the measures. It all kind of goes in this column. Then we have a column for methods, data, and findings. And then we have another column for outcomes and limitations. And the reason that I use this for students and students find it helpful is really because you open it up, you kind of put in all of your notes in here, and then you put away the article. And so students often find that when you do that, you cut down on plagiarism. A lot of stuff is in your own words. You have all of the main information that you need in these columns. And so it just works out better. I used it for my dissertation. Lots of people use them for projects. Sometimes, for your capstones, you're going to be required to have 20 sources. And how do you keep 20 sources together and know where everything came from? How do you cite in your literature? That kind of stuff. It becomes very cumbersome very fast. So what I did, this is actually from my dissertation. So you can see that I've got Grandy and Schultz here, the school attendance initiative, I believe, increasing school attendance for K-8, where I found it. And then I have the purpose, and this was just a literature review. So I'm just talking about the literature that they actually reviewed. So how many went in there, what the details were of every single one of these programs that they went through, how it was set up, what their targets were, kind of the limitations. Because it's a theory lit measures kind of study already, I kind of went in and talked about how they looked at the literature, what they were looking at, what the theory was for each of these models. And then in my outcomes and limitations, I have the general findings for all the articles, what was promising evidence, what was suggestive evidence, what kind of worked, what doesn't work, and then details about each and every one of these. This one is actually really long, but that's okay. It was one that I used. It had a lot of literature in it, and I needed a lot of information about them because they were eventually used. This one is much shorter. Milne, Chalmers, a community intervention project in New Zealand. I kind of give just points about what's happening, what their intervention goals were, how they approached the problem, background information they collected, the self-reports, the scales. It's all here so that when I go to write about these things, they're already contained here. I talk about how much truancy was reduced, what had impacts, what didn't, what was reducing truancy. And as you can see, truancy was my main focus for much of my research. And so I do this for every single article. This one is actually 37 pages because these are just my articles that are for intervention. And so you might want to think about having a set of these that are just for theory, a set of these that are just for intervention literature, a set that's just for your background and lit review, or you might want to find a way to combine them. So up here I have what area it goes in, and they remained green. And then as I moved through the different areas, they became different colors so that I could see. Here's another one. Sorry, no, I'm going fast. This was my substantive area. It became purple so that I had some record of when things changed and what part of my paper I was using this information for. So if you guys would like, I will go ahead and upload this document, a blank document, and the video so that you can kind of see about how I consume literature, how I take notes, what this looks like, so that as you guys consume literature, you're able to kind of pick out the important parts, what counts, what doesn't, and really focus in on the points in the literature that you need to know as you move through this. So this is going to be the end of the first video, and I will start the next one will contain information about code books and data sets.